January 7th, and we're going to call our organizational meeting for the Tipp City Schools to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I will be presiding currently over the meeting. And then Mr. Stevens, will you please take attendance?
Mrs. Drum?
Here.
Mrs. Dillard?
Yes, here.
Mrs. McMurray?
Here.
Mr. Maines?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
All present and accounted for, we can continue.
All right. At this time, I would love a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I'll move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right. Moved by Mrs. Dillard and seconded by Mr. Thompson to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Dillard?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
McMurray?
Yes.
All right, motion to approve the agenda passes. At this time, we will open the field for nominations for the election of the 2025 President of the Board of Education.
I would like to nominate Amber Drum for president.
Any other nominations? Oh, you guys, that's so nice. Thank you. I will accept the nomination. Okay, so now we just need to approve this. Okay, so I need a motion for approval to elect myself, Amber Drum, as the Tipp City School Board President for 2025.
I'll motion.
Yep, you got it, all the
Okay.
things. Motion by Mrs. McMurray, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Maines. Is there any discussion?
You've done a good job, Amber.
Thanks, Rick, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you. Keep it up.
Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
That was McMurray and Maines, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
you're correct.
McMurray?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Next, I'll open up nominations for the election of the Vice President.
I'd like to nominate Angie McMurray for vice president.
I will,
Second.
I will second and third it as well. All right, is there, Kyle, unless you want it? No? Okay, fantastic. All right, Angie, will you accept the nomination?
accept the nomination.
And that was Cindy that nominated her, correct?
And then Mr. Maines is the second. Okay, then let's go ahead and take a motion to, the approval to elect Mrs. McMurray as the Tipp City School Board, Vice President.
I'll motion that Angela McMurray be the vice president of the Tipp City School Board.
And I'll second.
Okay. Oh wait, I wrote the wrong name, sorry. All right, so motioned by Mrs. Dillard and seconded by Mr. Maines. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to thank Mr. Maines for his vice president.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thanks for taking it over. It's not a hard job. So you got the toughie.
Right. I'm looking forward to it. Murray to have you as the vice president. So, all right, we'll go ahead and vote.
Dillard?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
McMurray?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. So Mrs. McMurray is now our vice president. Okay, our next is, okay. All right, so we have a list, but I think we might need a discussion on it. And then we can do the recommended action. Okay, so you guys all got the board meeting calendar previously, and I believe at our last meeting we kind of discussed having it the third Tuesday of each month. There is one date that I will not be here, so we may have to talk about that later. And if there's other dates you guys, you're not gonna be here, please let us know as well. It makes life easier if we know ahead of time. But at this time, if there's no opposition to it, we can go ahead and create a motion for it.
I'll motion that is this for,
Yeah, so it's the motion would be approval
Of the work
establishing
sessions, yeah.
time and frequency of the Board of
Okay.
Education meeting locations, meetings.
Got it.
Compensation for the meetings according to ORC 3313.12 and 3313.2.
got it.
All those words.
I will motion to establish the time and frequency of the Board of Education meetings, the location of the meetings, and compensation for the meetings for board members at the maximum amount according to ORC 3313.12 and 3313.202D per meeting.
Okay, and then the recommendations are included in public content, and that's what you're asking for, correct, Mrs. McMurray, that our meetings are gonna be the third Tuesday of each, that our work sessions will be the third Tuesday of each month at 5 p.m. at LT Ball. And then our regular meetings will be the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right, is there any other discussion? Oh, wait, so I need a second on that.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Thompson. Is there any discussion?
I do have a discussion.
Okay,
Is there any chance of considering a different location than LT for our meetings?
okay. I would love to hear what you're thinking.
I find that due to the activities that take place pretty frequently, sometimes it can be pretty distracting and loud in LT Ball when we're trying to conduct meetings. That's primarily the only reason I think maybe we should explore a different location, but it always seems to be, which I have no problem with, we should have a lively and active school building. But it makes, and I understand the venue to allow for more people to attend. I'm just wondering if there wasn't an alternative space that might be a little more conducive, like this environment's nice and quiet and peaceful. So just an idea, just something to throw out there to discuss. I don't know if that other venue exists. I do think this space is quite small.
Yeah.
But I'd like to maybe think about if there is some other place that we could do it.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Same thing. I love that we have lots of activities with the basketball game and practice in there and things, and then some sports will be in there in the spring. It's just loud and it's hard to hear. So
I feel like we impose on the janitorial staff too when they're
Right.
trying to make their way around the building and do their jobs, and they're trying to be quiet for our sake, but their equipment's not quiet. So
Yeah.
just lots of little things like that.
is there one of the libraries that media
Well,
centers that we
that's,
could utilize?
Is that a possibility at all, Mr. Moran? A library, like the high school one? I know we've had meetings in there before, for different things.
Maybe we could have our first meeting continued at LT Ball while we look for another location.
That's a possibility too.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Just have a
I
few
do think
times-
it's loud in there too.
Yeah, and I think when we have all the students, which I love doing that, I
Mhm.
love having all the students, because that was missing for a while. So I love that part. And I want to be able to accommodate that. I'm just wondering if
I
if
have
we could have like a dual location or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
had meetings at the middle, I mean, I know it's kind of a walk inside, but at the middle school, at the current middle school, and their media center's a little bit more conducive because it has the open space in the front versus the high school has, I think, a bookshelf or something that comes down the center and it divides it. So, I mean,
well, the high school one now, it just has the bookshelf on the side. All the tables are set up in
Mhm.
front of it.
yeah,
Your meeting space is half the size of LT Ball
Yeah,
in the high school
in
library.
the high school library.
What about the high school auditorium?
I don't know.
Nice
I
and
feel like
quiet
it
in there.
echoes so bad in there though. Yeah. I don't know.
I think that also at LT Ball, some of our guests and the audience have a difficult time hearing our discussion as well.
It's loud.
So the noise is behind them.
Yeah, I think obviously this would require some discussion and coordination because
Yeah.
we also might be infringing upon some other schedules and some other activities that are gonna be in these places on a Tuesday night. So I don't wanna create any hardship, I just
No.
felt like it was worthy of consideration. given the
I mean, I think as long as we announce the meeting and the appropriate amount of time, which, and the location of it, I mean, we've got a couple weeks before
Yes,
this
I
first
mean,
meeting,
I
if we
still
can find a
think,
place.
I still think like Cindy said, we could still go ahead and do our first one in January there. I mean, it's with the idea that it's probably gonna be loud because the baseball teams will still be practicing inside, the basketball teams will be inside, softball teams will be inside, so it's gonna be loud. But then maybe that gives us time to come up with another location or to ask more questions to figure out a location that would work moving forward.
Agreed.
Can we ask Mr. Moran if there's a thought in your mind of a space that would occur to you right off the top of your head, or would it require a little more investigation?
Probably a little more investigation. Because all the buildings have stuff going on. Typically, I don't think there's this facility in Broadway, so it's really LT Ball Middle School and High School, and at least the next 2 months, obviously it's pretty busy in there. And then in the springtime, we're looking at the auditorium with the play. Little Mermaid's gonna be in there, so they'll be using that quite a bit in the evenings for practices.
That's what came to my mind when
So,
you said that too.
I think it's just, we just need to find another space that can accommodate 100 plus, cause there's a lot of families that show up and finding it. Unfortunately, we had to use the other side, we can't use the other side of
Right.
LT Ball like we did before, that seemed to work okay too, but
That was fine.
with the classroom
Right.
additions there. So, yeah, let me come up with something and we can discuss it and figure out how to make that happen for the 21st.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we don't have to do it for the 21st, we could just discuss it
Yeah.
at our work session on the 21st. Okay, so no amendments, we're just gonna keep it as it is for right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Does that work for, we good? Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and approve the original motion, which was to establish the time of 5 PM for our work sessions, 6 PM for our regular meetings. Frequency of work sessions will be the third Tuesday of each month, and the regular meeting will follow behind the third Tuesday of each month. Location currently is LT Ball Intermediate School, and compensation for the meetings for board members at the maximum amount according to ROC 3313.12 and 3313.202D per meeting. And we're gonna go ahead and vote on that.
Ready?
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Alright, next. Okay, oh yeah. This is January 9th, right? Yes,
6:30 PM.
thank you. I have it in my calendar, but I wanted to check. Okay, at this time, I would love a motion to designate a representative, which is Mr. Maines already all volunteered, to participate in the Tipp City Library annual meeting on January 9th at 6:30 PM. So we just have to create a motion and vote on that.
All motion?
Moved by Mr. Thompson, is there a second?
One second.
Second by Mrs. McMurray. Mr. Maines, are you still good with going on the 9th?
I'm still good with it.
Fantastic, okay, awesome, and then we'll go ahead and proceed to vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Haynes.
Do I have to abstain?
No, you can say yes.
You wanna go?
Okay.
Say it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know legally if I had to.
Yeah, you can vote on yourself. So Mr. Maines will be attending the library's annual meeting on January 9th at 6:30 p.m. All right, moving on. Mr. Stevens, we're gonna move to you in a second, but right now I'd love a motion for the approval of the resolution adopting the alternative tax budget for fiscal year 2026.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Means. And then I'll go ahead and second. And Mr. Stevens, would you like to take the floor to discuss?
Sure. So the alternative tax budget, again, this is something the Miami County Auditor's Office requests us to file with them on an annual basis. This is 6 months in advance of when fiscal year 2026 begins, which is July 1st, 2025. And this is just a really far out ballpark estimate of what we think budgets are going to need to be. This is an estimated beginning cash balance for fiscal year 26. Basically, we're just using 2025 cash balances, currently approved appropriations, and estimated receipts to come up with an estimated ending cash balance for 2026. And then we're using known variances or known things in the future, such as debt schedules or debt payments, things like that. Anything that we know of is currently worked into fiscal year 26 activity. But again, this is all, most of these are all estimates, and it's just based off of what we know for fiscal year 25 or past history. The general fund and 016 funds, the emergency levy fund, those are following the 5-year forecast. And so that is how these schedules have been determined. In the back of the alternative tax document, you will see the tax levies that Tipp City Schools currently has on the books with the county, and the millage that's being collected. And we also list the current outstanding debt that for certain debt issues that we have at Tipp City. One of the items that is missing is the high school debt that has been paid off. Is not being shown in this report because it's now gone. However, we have put onto that report the new K-8 OFCC project and the high school renovation project of OFCC. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Are there any questions that I can answer for board members at this time? Okay. The rest of this process, once this is voted on, and we'll approve this resolution authorizing the alternative tax document for fiscal year 2026. I will take this document along with the resolution and the previous resolution that was passed in December, go up to the county auditor's office and file everything with them in person. And we'll be done with fiscal year 26 until we get to June or July. So we'll adopt temporary appropriations for fiscal year 26 in June. And then permanent appropriations will be adopted in September. So that's all I have.
Any questions, discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and proceed to vote.
Maines,
Yes.
Drone,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Next is approval of a resolution to advance taxes for the treasurer of Miami County to the Tipp City Board of Education. Public content is listed below. Yeah, I'd love a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Means,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Dillard, sorry. Whew. And Mr. Stevens?
Yeah, I'll just say, this resolution is necessary for the district to request an advance payment of property taxes collected by the county auditor and treasurer. Normally, they'll distribute taxes in February and August. They've collected in January, so we can get those now, put it into the bank, and earn interest on their money now. So, and this just gives the authorization to do so. If we don't do this, then we don't do advances, and we just wait for the funding to be turned over to us by the county auditor's office. So, standard practice.
Any discussion?
Like money.
Yeah. Need interest.
Interest is great. Okay. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Maines,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, a motion for the approval of consent agenda items, which include executive hiring approval and public records training.
All motion
Motion by
to approve the consent agenda items.
Motion by Mrs. McMurray for consent agenda items. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Thompson. Since it's a consent agenda item, we don't need to have any discussion. And we'll proceed to vote.
I missed the first and second on that.
McMurray and Thompson.
Thank you. McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business, is a motion to retain the following law firms as our in needed basis. So it'd be Bricker Creighton and Frost Brown Todd. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Moved by Mrs. McMurray
I'll second.
and seconded by Mrs. Dillard. Is there any discussion, Mrs. McMurray?
I think just from my own personal knowledge, the importance of having, I mean, I know what both of these firms are, but having two practices, what, maybe, are they like different, you know, met with the Frost Brown Todd guy last year, but different things that they're looking at, or if something would happen?
We've used Bricker Grading
Yeah.
for the bond, so they're doing the bond stuff and also some special ed issues
Awesome.
and some more general stuff and as well with Frost Brown Todd.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I just know our law bill has gone down significantly over the last, year and a half or so, I think they seem to be doing a great job. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. Oh, you're good. You gotta write stuff down, I get it.
McMurray,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Maines,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, so our next regular Board of Education, oh wait, we have the, it's fine. Okay, so our next regular Board of Education meeting will take place on January 21st. Yes, at the, no, wait, this is wrong.
It just seems kind of backwards, but.
Yeah, they're written wrong. Okay, so the next Board of Education meeting, which is right after this, will take place today, beginning at 6:30.
Technically, it's a records commission
Records
meeting.
Commission meeting.
It is not a regular board meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna say this the right way, cause I don't like the way it's written. Cool, okay. So our next work session meeting will take place on January 21st at LT Ball, beginning at 5 p.m. And our regular Board of Education meeting will take place on January 21st at LT Ball, beginning at 6 p.m.
It says both that say that at the board.
Yes, that's why
Yeah.
So Mr. Stevens, are we cool to correct that, or do we need a?
Yeah, you
Okay.
corrected it. Both of these
Okay.
meetings will be in January 21st, 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. at LT Ball.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that we were okay to leave
I
it
will
like that.
update those and make sure it's the
Okay.
correct ones.
Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, at this time, I would love a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mr. Thompson,
I'll second.
seconded by Mrs. McMurray. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Maines,
Yes.
Dillard.
Yes.
All right, the time is now 6:24 and this meeting is adjourned. Okay, now to the next one. Records, it starts at